Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2025 ski test. Today we're talking about this Armada ARV 106. The narrower ARV skis all changed for 2024. The ARV 106 actually stayed the same for 2024, but now we get a new ski for 2025, which is really exciting. And also kind of cool because the changes for 2024 to those narrower skis have actually been tweaked for 2025. So they kind of learned something and applied it to this new 106, but gets all kind of the same shaping changes. And I had an absolute blast on this ski at our ski test. We had tremendous conditions for testing a ski like this. You'll see some of the footage of me skiing on this ski in this video. And I just think Armada did a great job. And it's kind of exactly what a 106 underfoot twin tip should be. So to start, let's chat about the construction in this thing. All the ARV models now have poplar wood cores, so that's a little different than what we saw last year, particularly in those narrower widths. So poplar wood core, we do get an ash binding insert underfoot, kind of just helps with binding retention. And then this ski now has that wedge wall technology, so the sidewall is kind of like triangular in how it interacts with the actual wood core, sort of like a joinery technique. And when you impact against a rail or a rock or anything firm, it's pushing those two elements together rather than splitting them apart like a traditional sidewall and how it would interact with that core. Before we look at shape, we almost got ahead of ourselves here. This is a 180 centimeter length. Obviously we are 106 underfoot and we're just over 2,000 grams, 2,020 grams. So it's not the heaviest thing in the world, but you know, you'll see much lighter skis in like the hybrid touring category and stuff like that. But I think this is a very well-rounded weight. And then you can kind of say the same exact thing about the flex pattern. This ski is intended to be playful and fun to ski and work really well in soft snow. So you can't really have a super stiff flex pattern, but this ski does have a bit of a supportive flex to it. You know, it's certainly not just a noodle, which I think is really cool. And then looking at shape, rocker, camber, rocker shape in this ski. Like I said, they kind of tweaked the shape compared to the ski that this replaces. One of the big elements there is a new rocker profile as well as new kind of taper shape. So if you're familiar with, say, the 24 ARV 94 and 100, this now shares a much more similar shape to those skis. Like I said, I had an absolute blast on this thing. I find it has a really nice mix of maneuverability and playfulness, but also with a decent amount of stability. The terrain that we were skiing is fairly steep in spots. I actually followed some younger skiers off of a jump that I don't normally hit and landed in some sort of icier moguls, and the ski handled it really well. Again, it's not the most powerful thing. Like, you could kind of compare it back to like a Declivity X108. That ski is more hard charging, more for those kind of down the fall line, big mountain charger type skiers. But this isn't just a complete noodle. So I think that's nice to know, and kind of a nice feature for this ski is you can be super playful and super creative on it, but you can trust what's underneath your feet as well. We had Greg on this ski at our ski test. Greg has been to maybe not all, but most of our ski tests. Always has like really valuable feedback for skis. He does a great job just kind of describing how a ski feels for him. I think his lowest score for this ski was a 7 out of 10 for torsional stiffness. We got like a 9 for flotation, I think a 10 for playfulness. Quickness was super high, like 9 or 10, and then overall impression was a 9 out of 10. And he had a very similar reaction to me, just kind of talked about how playful it is and how fun it is to ski, how well it worked in here in Vermont on a day like that, like an 8 to 10 inch powder day, pretty much ideal. Definitely probably more of a powder ski application here in Vermont, but I could see somebody out west just absolutely loving this ski. And I think he was probably a bit surprised too by that stability. 7 out of 10 for torsional stiffness for a twin tip that's 106 underfoot is pretty impressive. So it is playful. It is super fun to ski. You can do all sorts of stuff on it. Would be an absolute blast as like a backcountry jump ski. But then if you're like skiing a little faster inside the resort, it can handle that too. So I think they did a great job with it. That is the Armada ARV 106. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.